constantly find yourself starting new worlds in Minecraft just to do the same thing that you've done in every single other world that you've ever played? Do you find yourself getting burnt out because you feel like there's nothing else to do? Well, Ayo, it's Danilo, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about things you can do to not get so burnt out in Minecraft. The first one is harping back to that doing the same exact thing in every world. Change it up a little bit. If you always mine down for a base or, you know, go into caves and start building around in there, maybe it's time to build a little bit above ground or, vice versa. If you find yourself struggling with storage, maybe you could learn how to make a sorting system or even just kind of have a single bulk storage area and then one area that is for miscellaneous items. I've never created a base like this, as I almost die. I've never created a base anything like this. Normally, it's just one big room that is literally a square built up, almost like a storage building, and I just put a bunch of chests in it. I don't normally find the point in sorting out my items if it's going to take more time to sort than it would be for me to just look through a couple chests and find it. Well, I'm starting to see the problem with this world, as I already have two little areas to my base. So now I'm slowly digging down and I'm having multiple little levels. I've never created a base like this, as I almost die. I've never created a base anything like this. Normally it's just one big room that is literally a square built up almost like a storage building, and I just put a bunch of chests in it. I don't normally find the point in sorting out my items if it's going to take more time to sort than it would be for me to just look through a couple chests and find it. Well, I'm starting to see the problem with this world, as I already have two little areas to my base. I have this main base, and then I have the spawner area that I just came from, where my amethyst geodes are. So I've started running into the problem of not knowing where stuff is and not knowing how I can fix that. I also have a new third part of my base I'm working on that's a few thousand blocks away, which is a witch farm, which will be shown off in my upcoming episode of Not So Hardcore. But why am I saying all this about my series? Well, it's how I'm learning how to not get burnt out myself. I've done my fair share of massive projects and mega bases and factories and just all kinds of farms, and I've never really felt like I've had fun. Normally, I start with villagers, where if you've seen my hardcore series that I had, every time I would start a new world, my main focus was villagers. That's not the case here. I went fishing for about 7 hours for my first mending book in this world. I'm not going to be dealing with villagers very often here. I'm not going to be the main one holding on to them because I don't find that fun anymore. I've burnt myself out on villager trading. I would rather fish for multiple hours on stream than have a guarantee of getting it and then feeling like I haven't accomplished a whole lot. Normally by now I would have killed the dragon, had netherite completely, and mending on all my gear. If I look at my inventory, 3 of my 4 pieces of armor have broken. My axe is halfway dead, and it doesn't have the best enchants. My shovel doesn't have the best enchants. My only good thing is my pickaxe, because I've been using that a lot. And my sword, I got lucky with most of the enchants, but I do not care for the knockback. And maybe that's something that we need to start doing as a community. If that's what's burning ourselves out, is being able to do everything super fast, like we're speedrunning, even if we're not, maybe we need to take it slow and actually try to play the game. Mega bases are something that will take months, if not years, to complete. Maybe we don't need mega bases unless if we have the time and dedication to them. At the moment, I'm very satisfied working on this base, which I consider to be tiny, and I only have 3 little segments mined out. In my mind, There's going to be another one with that whole side leading up to about right here, and then I'm going to have another segment that cuts off kind of where the bed is, and then a final segment down there. Then that side will be mainly for farms. So I still have a lot to go with this, and this is not something I would consider to be a mega base. I have made bases way larger than this and given up about halfway through. And since I'm recording this series for YouTube, I do feel like I need to be putting a little bit more effort into it and actually completing it to the fullest that I can. I don't know if that is actually changing my mindset and keeping me less burnt out, but definitely changing up how I play is helping out a lot. And if there's any other thing if there's anything other than this that I have learned, is killing the dragon definitely is not the end game. I know a lot of players get to where they kill the dragon and they have a little house and maybe a couple of pieces of diamond armor, and then they're kind of done with the world because they feel like they've done it all. The end dimension does not mean the end of the game. And maybe it's time for an update to that dimension to make it have more progression. I mean, we ended up with netherite for the nether to upgrade our diamond tools. Maybe in the future we'll see another update for a higher tier. But right now, we need to focus on making sure that we're enjoying the games that we play. And Minecraft being such a big sandbox and being able to do literally anything, I've chosen the weirdest base design I think I could have, of maybe 30 hours total of just mining out stuff and throwing some sand or glass up there where the sand was. And I was not happy with how this was turning out while this was all still full of sand and sandstone. It was only after I mined this area out that I started really caring about the base. And maybe there is something about the ugly phase. Maybe once we can learn to get past the ugly phase of whatever we're dealing with, then we can have something that we can portray and think of as beauty. Not all houses look great in the beginning. Not all bases will be mega from the start. Not all worlds need to be speedrun. Not not all worlds need to be speedrunned. Maybe we just take it slow. I've never messed with a happy gas before, and in the middle of my episode that I had kind of planned out, everything went almost completely wrong. I went to the nether and almost lost everything in lava multiple times, almost died to skeletons multiple times, and then I found the dried ghast. And that made me want to make it back to my base without dying. Now, they're not that rare or hard to craft even, but the moment that my plan changed and I didn't have it all completely thought out, I felt better about recording. Now, I was originally going to make a massive tower and a really big like castle base where my witch farm is, multiple thousands of blocks that way. But I found a new way of building a witch farm where it really didn't take much. It was a trapdoor, a couple pieces of glass, and building an AFK platform. There was minor redstone involved, and I didn't have to make a water chamber to send the witches up to me at the very top of the tower, so there's no need for me to go out of my way to build a tower to look good just for a farm. Not everything has to be pretty. Things that are meant for resources can just be resourceful. And that's something else I'm noticing. I've been too focused before on automating my entire world that I never got to see the beauty in just having something for it to exist and not for it to be beautiful. I got this fox on accident. I ended up having to place blue glass here and yellow here on accident because there was water I didn't think would leak in. That's all I had on me. Now, eventually, yeah, things will change, and maybe eventually the crate add-on will no longer be supported. But to me, I feel less burnt out seeing this, seeing a wall of blocks, than I would seeing a bunch of chests. I feel better just having an enchantment table and not grinding my levels to be completely perfect and getting books with every single enchantment. I feel great going fishing and somebody making me laugh and turning them into a fish for my wall. Now, eventually I want to have a chest full of a bunch of people to do that. And the whole point of this is we all will have our things that stop us from feeling burnt out. Maybe watching other YouTubers play this game to the fullest extent, like the Hermitcraft, those are dedicated and professional Minecrafters. We cannot all hold ourselves up to that standard. It is great that they can, and it is so entertaining and joyful to watch. And I too one day hope to be at that level of a Minecrafter. But right now, I'm just having fun with it. I have a super annoying, slightly like bad sheep farm. It is just sheep. I think no, it's not broken. I literally have observers that just go into it at the moment. I don't know why it's not clicking. Normally it clicks every 5 seconds. But all I need is wool because I'm going to do map arts. So I can have joy and not feel burnt out. Shearing a sheep manually will make you feel burnt out faster than almost anything in this game. But even though my farm isn't the most efficient or the best looking, and it is hidden away under a fake actual sheep farm, maybe that's just what I need. Maybe that's how I play the game, to not feel burnt out. I used to make my sheep farms that were automatic look so good to the point where I was spending 40 times the amount of time as I should have on just that project, and even villager trading halls, spending so much time on something that eventually becomes useless. After I get enough wool to cover a 128 by 128 in every single color, I will no longer need a sheep farm. Once I get to where I'm doing map arts and I'm over at the witch base more than over here, this base will eventually be left to rot. And that doesn't make me sad or make me feel like I'm doing it all for nothing, because feeling like you're doing something for nothing leads to that burnout way faster than just doing the thing to do it. Like, I'm having fun playing around with glass. Like, right now, I'm working on kind of like a diorite tinted thing, and then I have just tinted glass over there. And right here, I'm working on amethyst with lights around it underneath glass, the tinted glass, which is taking up a lot of amethyst. And I'm glad that I found 2 geodes to mine all my actual blocks so I can focus all of my shards on tinted glass. But maybe this is too much for some people and too overwhelming. I'm nearing in 430 days in this realm with the help of a few others, and I feel like I've just started. And that's the beauty of it. That's why I don't think I'll get burnt out or lose hope in my builds or my ideas for this realm. And especially as I grow as a creator, it'll only inspire me to do more and maybe make a better video than this in the future talking about burnout. But my own burnout has been forcing myself to start thinking about mega bases. I'm not thinking about the perfect layout of this. I'm building it and then going to figure out where my storage is going to be or where my bed's going to be. I'm freehand drawing this out of blocks. These are all going to get broken. Actually, they can all get broken right now because I'm done digging down the walls. And then I can start lining out my next area. Maybe taking everything a tiny bit at a time will make your experience better. And hopefully this wasn't a waste of your time. I've been NLO. If you'd like to hear more from me, or help me out with ideas for my base, or become a fish on my wall, you can like, subscribe, and comment anything. If your comment makes me laugh enough, that's enough to add you to the wall. It doesn't have to be during a live stream. I stream at awkward hours. Not everybody can make it. But until next time, stay frosty.